Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about how I used astrology to start my own jewelry line, and yes, that's what I'm wearing right now. We also have my other piece right here. This is my crystal jewelry line that I have launched as of recently, and I want to talk about how I implemented astrology into starting my business because it really helped and guided me into this path when I was genuinely so lost and confused on what my direction was. I had an idea of wanting to own a brand and start a jewelry line, but that was so pushed back in the back of my mind because I just did not think I would be able to do it, right? And so many life events happened in the course of that time. And once I really started to hone in on astrology and using different transits and the moon cycles to work with myself, my inner self, and help myself get better from the inside out, that is when my path became clearer and how I was able to come to the decision of being able to even start this jewelry line. So this video is going to be about how I use transits and moon cycles, but also the process of what I went through to even start my line. Let's get into the basics of working with the moon. So every 2 weeks, there is a different phase of the moon. Obviously, there's a different phase of the moon every day, but there's two major phases of the moon, right? And that is a new moon and a full moon. So the new moon is when the moon is in a new sign. It's usually wherever the sun is residing. So for example, we are right now in Leo season, right? And yesterday was August 12th. It was a new moon in Leo. And it was also a solar eclipse actually yesterday. So that's an example of a transit that you'd work with, and I'll mention that later. But right now, let's just focus on the moon itself. There's a new moon and then there's a full moon, and that happens every 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from now, there is going to be a full moon, and that full moon is going to be in the sister sign of whatever the sun sign is currently. So right now, the new moon is in Leo, right? So the full moon will be in, oh shit, is it? You know what? I think the full moon, because I think we just had a full moon in Aquarius. It's going to be a full moon in Pisces, I believe, because it's going to be Virgo season. Yeah. Sorry about that, y'all. It's going to be a full moon in Pisces because the full moon in Aquarius already happened and Leo season is about to end. So as we move in to Virgo season, I know this is confusing. Since it's going to be Virgo season and the new moon just happened, the full moon is coming next, and the full moon will be in Pisces because Pisces is the sister sign of Virgo. So for every moon, that transits through your chart. And with astrology, all of us have 12 houses, and that is based on your rising sign. So for example, I'm a Libra rising. So my first house is Libra, and my second house is Scorpio because Scorpio is right after Libra. And then Sagittarius is right after Scorpio, so that's my third house, etc. And everyone's is different based on their rising sign. So it is very important for you to have your birth time, your exact birth time, because things can even change within a few minutes. So make sure you have your exact birth time. And what you're gonna go and do is go on Astroseek, and first, you can just check out your birth chart, okay? So just run your birth chart, see all the different things about you, right? But you can also run a transit chart, and that option is available on astroseek.com. You go into the transit section, and I'm gonna insert a screen recording of all of this. Insert what time the transit is happening. So, for example, yesterday, the solar eclipse or the new moon was happening at 12:46 p.m. in Central Time for me. So that was the transit time that I put in. And when you run the chart, the outer circle is going to be full of orange planets, and you're going to see where the moon is. And there's a legend at the bottom. It also just, if you scroll down, it'll just tell you where the moon is sitting, in what house it's sitting. And that is how you see where the moon is transiting through. So for me, as a Libra rising, yesterday's moon was transiting through my Leo house, which is my 11th house, and the 11th house has to do with community and friendships, etc. So that's how you work with the moons. You see where the moon is transiting through in your chart and how that affects that area. And the new moon is obviously different than the full moon. They both have different things. Full moons are more for releasing. It's not for manifesting. It's for releasing and overcoming. Whereas the new moon is to set new intentions. It's a new moon. So this is for new manifestations. It is a better time to manifest during a new moon and to set new intentions as well and call in new things. I started to do that very strictly every single moon cycle. And I started doing shadow work within those sections of whatever the moon was transiting through in whatever house. So if I were to do shadow work yesterday as it was going through my 11th house, which is ruled by Leo for me specifically, that meant that I had to do shadow work when it came to my community, my friendships, and my holding on to friendships that were lasting too long and not giving me enough. Friendships that I was just people pleasing in, you know, etc. So those are examples of shadow work, right? And if you want me to go more into detail of the houses and things like that, just let me know. I can make another video about that. But for this video specifically, I just want to give a general basis of how I use astrology. So with all these shadow work prompts that you do over time, you start to gain more clarity and insight. You also start to change as a human. You see the things that you're doing manifest. So when I'm setting manifestations at the new moon and releasing things at the full moon, it is like shedding away old parts of yourself and a new version of yourself just emerging out. And through time, I came to the point of being able to come to the clarity that I needed to start this line. I would like to talk about transits. So with the transits, that is different things is with astrology happening with the other planets, right? For example, Jupiter just moved into Leo, and that happened on June 29th / June 30th. And for me, that was also transiting through my 11th house. So there's a lot going on for me with community and friendships, etc. And I mean, it kind of makes sense for me. I'm also a Leo moon as well. My moon is in Leo. It's also in my 11th house. So this is called a Placidus system, the system of astrology I'm using right now. Obviously, Western astrology is Placidus. And Placidus is just a very detailed way of seeing what degree the planets are at, what house it's sitting at, etc. The transit that really helped clarify for me to start this line was back in, I'd say, March, April of this year. I started to get clarity that I just needed to start this. And it was because there were so many planets that were in Aries at the time. I believe like 5 or 6 planets were in Aries at the time. And with what was happening, it was a message that I was receiving that I needed to redirect my focus on what my path is and to start launching something. And this idea of wanting to start my jewelry line was always in the back of my head, and I kept pushing it back and back. And I came across these crystals that I'm wearing right now. This was the crystal that I specifically came across. I was like immediately drawn to it, and I was like, I need to figure out how to make jewelry and how I can start my brand. And I had already started my business with just establishing an LLC back in the beginning of 2025, okay? Because I was going through it and I was like, I need some kind of backup. And by the way, side note, if you want me to go more into detail about the things I was experiencing and open up a little bit, I can do that if you only want me to. So I can make another video on that. But I did establish an LLC. and I started creating my business account, making a bank account, all that back in October of 2025. All right, so I slowly started establishing things, still didn't know what I was creating with this business. And slowly the clarity came, and I was like, I landed on this crystal. I still kept putting it off. I was like, should I do it? I was scared. I don't know how to do it. I don't even know how to make jewelry, but I figured it out, guys. I figured it out, and now it came to me so naturally. I didn't even really struggle to make these pieces at all, and even like future pieces that I'm making. It's coming very naturally to me on what I need to do to create the pieces and even how to run my business. And it was almost like everything is flowing so smoothly without me even having to try too hard. It's coming naturally, and it feels like I finally found the thing that I want to do, because it just infuses all the things that I'm interested in, and it drives my purpose. When that transit in Aries happened back in March/April, that was a transit of so many planets within Aries. And Aries is all about action, right? It's about the self. It is about the ego, but it is a sign that is very driven and get what you want, tunnel vision, focus, and do what you gotta do. It's about action and making things that happen because it's ruled by Mars. And it only made sense for me to just jump into it no matter what, no matter how scary it was. I had to put all my fear aside and act like an Aries. Really stepped into my Aries energy, and I figured it out. So with all that being said, that is how I started my line. And transits also played into everything, right? Along with the moon cycles, all these different transits that happen throughout the year have different things that it wants you to focus on, right? So I was able to utilize what each transit called for, and then do shadow work based on that, call in new things based on that, take actions based on that. And it kind of changes your mindset. It changes how you go about life, and you slowly start to turn into a brand new person. So that is why I am such a strong believer in astrology. It has truly helped me so much as a human to grow, to do shadow work, to discover new areas of things, you know, like it makes you really think about different things. Like for example, like if you have a transit going through your 4th house, it's forcing you to think about your family, your security, your home, etc. Things that are focused in that area of life. And it makes you really ponder and think about all these different areas of life. Like the 12th house, if something's going through your 12th house, that's about your subconscious mind, your deep thoughts, your dreams, etc. So it really makes you think, and every planet has a different purpose and idea that's behind it, right? Like Saturn is the planet of karma, restriction, time, all those kind of things. So it makes you basically think about all these different things that have to do with the planet itself and what that means when it goes through a certain house of your chart, and implementing the sign that's in. So it gets very detailed. And if you want me to start making videos on transits, I can do so. I just, I took a break from YouTube. I was making videos about the different moon transits and things. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of gave up on YouTube just because I wasn't seeing the views and things like that. And I felt very discouraged. And yeah, I was feeling a little down about YouTube, but I am just feeling called to make this video about my line, just because I think whoever will come across this, the few people that do, will maybe get some inspiration to start utilizing astrology into their everyday if they haven't already, or even just finding purpose, right? This can come across in so many different ways. So that's why I wanted to make this video, and I just wanted to also introduce my line because I am obsessed with my jewelry. Like, do y'all see this? This is a crazy crazy lace agate with a labradorite. This is a Mexican zebra jasper stone with a rose quartz. And I love crystals and jewelry, so I just wanted to talk about it. Obviously, and my website is etherealjoules.com, where I sell my pieces, and I was able to build my own website. Like, I'm in an era where I feel so good about what I'm doing, and I found my purpose, and I feel like I'm finally in the right direction of what I wanted to do. I always wanted to be a brand owner in some way. I thought I wanted to be an influencer. No, that's not for me anymore. I don't even want to be called an influencer. Like, it's just not it. I like to be called a brand owner as a Capricorn. So yeah, that is how I started my line. I can obviously go into more detail with astrological things. I just didn't want to make this video too long and ramble for so long. But let me know what you would like to see from me regarding this or astrology, etc. And I would love to make more videos. So thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like. It will really help me out. And also don't forget to check out my crystal jewelry line, which is etherealjoules.com. All right, thank you guys. Bye.